All right, so you guys all know Mehdi Hasan launched his new outlet, Zateo. He's had some good content coming out of there recently. The other day, he did a debate, September 21st, 2024. The forum is called Open to Debate. And he debates I believe, a former Israeli government spokesman named Eylon Levy. And we got this little clip coming out of it. Man, he just routs his ass, bro. Holy shit. So we got 2 minutes and 19 seconds of pure brilliance where Medy just slaps down the insane pro-Israel argument. Imagine making a pro-Israel argument at this late date, given what's happening in Gaza and what they're doing to Lebanon. It is unconscionable. But here we go.
One more time, your argument for why Israel's actions in the Gaza war were not justified.
Ladies and gentlemen, were the actions of Israel in Gaza justified? Look, the argument is pretty simple tonight and pretty hypocritical from Eylon. What we've heard tonight is that nothing justifies October the 7th, but October the 7th justifies everything. Well, I'm here tonight to tell you, no, October the 7th does not justify everything. It does not justify the suffering in Gaza. It does not justify the killing of kids in Gaza. It does not justify the starvation in Gaza. It does not justify the rape and torture of Palestinian detainees, which Eylon refused to condemn tonight.
Look at his face the whole time. I'm going to actually bring this back. Look at Eylon's face, and I'll put her on normal speed because Medy talks pretty fast anyway. But notice his face as Medy just lays down facts.
October the 7th, but October the 7th justifies everything. Well, I'm here tonight to tell you, no, October the 7th does not justify everything. It does not justify the suffering in Gaza. It does not justify the killing of kids in Gaza. It does not justify the starvation in Gaza. It does not justify the rape and torture of Palestinian detainees, which Eylon refused to condemn tonight. It does not justify any of that. It doesn't justify the tearing up of the Geneva Conventions, the defiance of international law and the ICC and our own Leahy law. Yes, October the 7th was a war crime, but the response to a war crime is not to commit your own series of war crimes on an epic scale. 33 times as many people killed since October the 7th as were killed on October the 7th. And I'll say this to you, look, very, very clearly, if you support this motion tonight, you are opening the gates of hell. Not just in Gaza, but globally, because every dictator and tyrant around the world will say, Israel's actions were justified? Then so are mine. Putin, Assad, Kim, they'll all say, Israel killed kids. Israel killed aid workers. Israel killed journalists. So can we. And I will be very clear. I will be very clear with you tonight. If you are here tonight, ladies and gents, if you're here tonight to defend what Israel's done, knowing full well what Israel has done, if you're defending the human suffering in Gaza, the amputation of little kids, if you're doing that in full knowledge, then you're not just here to defend the indefensible or justify the unjustifiable. I'm sorry, you're a sociopath. And I will say to you, please, don't be a sociopath tonight. Don't support war crimes. Don't defend a genocide. Join me and every human rights organization in the world, every humanitarian aid agency on the planet, every American doctor and nurse who's been out to volunteer in Gaza. Join us in opposing this ridiculous and offensive and horrendous motion. And on behalf of the Al-Dos family, who Eylon clearly doesn't give a damn about, I beg to oppose this motion.
One of the things I've had to wrap my mind around in recent times is the idea that I naively believed that some things were so beyond the pale that we wouldn't debate them anymore. Like everybody agrees on some very basic fundamental things. Like, for example, the Nazis were bad. Genocide is bad, right? That we should strive for equality under the law. Like, these are all things that I assume naively, well, everybody sort of agrees to these things, right? It's as simple as saying, like, murder is wrong. It's like, oh, so bold, so edgy to make that take. Everybody's like, duh. But guess what? I was wrong. Apparently, people insist on debating that which is not debatable. And it's been a tough pill for me to swallow. It really has been. That, wait a second, we got to go back to square one on some political shit now, and we got to rehash whether or not torturing innocent people is acceptable, having concentration camps is acceptable, destroying 70% of the buildings in Gaza is acceptable, doing a total siege, cutting off the food, the fuel, the water, the electricity, etc. That's acceptable. Cutting off funding to UNRWA, who's like the last line of support for Gaza. Like, these are things that we have to debate, we have to discuss, we have to argue. And look, the fact of the matter is, I don't think people on the other side of this are arguing in good faith. I don't think they are. I think they know that all these things are wrong, but they don't care. Because in their mind, there's pure good on this side, pure evil on that side, so anything goes. So because we have defined ourselves as good, and we think we're good, therefore sometimes good people have to do bad things to achieve good ends. It's sort of like an ends justify the means type thing, and that's the way people are approaching this. But in the process of doing that, they have totally, completely, and utterly lost their humanity. They've lost any sort of semblance of belief in international law or justice or the Geneva Conventions or the Nuremberg tribunals. That's all gone. That's all gone. And again, I don't think a single person at this point is arguing in good faith on the other side of this. I think it all stems from a very, very base, tribalist, fundamentalist instinct. And they just have embraced that part of themselves. But look, I respect the fact that Medy's willing to say, look, I know this isn't really debatable. I know it's insane to even have this conversation, but I'm going to do the best I can to frame this as accurately as I can and say, these people are beyond the pale. These people are unreasonable. These people are sociopaths. These people are genocidal. And sometimes you got to tell the harsh truth in order to make it land for people who might not know about it or might be on the fence, if that's even possible. If people don't have the information that they need, then it is possible to be on the fence. If you don't know what's actually happening, then I could see how somebody could fall into some both sidesism. But his job is, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to educate you, I'm going to tell you the truth, and I'm going to make it clear there are no two actual sides to this. There are no two reasonable positions to have here. This isn't a, oh, well, we agree to disagree type thing. It's like, no, you're a monster. You're a monster in the same way that anybody would say, if you're doing apologetics for Adolf Hitler, you're a fucking monster. We're at that point now with Netanyahu. We're at that point now with Israel. We just are. We just are. When we're talking minimum 48,000 Palestinians killed, 90% civilian death rate, and I'm not even mentioning the Lancet numbers, which is they think when all's said and done, direct and indirect deaths in Gaza, it'll be over 186,000. What we're looking at here is a modern-day Holocaust. We're looking at an atrocity, the likes of which we haven't seen yet in our lifetime, and I'm including in there even the war in Iraq, for example. We have far surpassed that with the purposeful killing of innocent women and children. And so credit to Medy for going out there and debating that, which is not debatable, because somebody's got to do the dirty work. Somebody's got to do it. Because if the other side makes it look like, hey, we're willing to debate it, we're willing to discuss it because we have confidence in our ideas, it's not the right approach to cower in the corner and say, since this is not debatable, I'm just going to assume you're wrong and move forward. No, you gotta put them in their fucking place. And he is definitely well equipped with the tools and the ability to fight back against this nonsense and come out the victor. So I can't wait. I want to watch the whole thing. I'm sure it's going to be a really, really good debate. And I'm sure he does the best he possibly could. I'm happy he's now more independent than he was previously because it gives him the opportunity to really shine and with no constraints. So anyway, I like Omar Badr's comment here. The sociopath at the other podium couldn't comprehend why that resonated so well with the audience. Well done. Yeah, no, he's right. All right, there you have it. Mehdi Hasan brutalizing some Zionist hack. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.